All right, the kingdom of Pergamon, which is in present-day Turkey, enjoyed great wealth and power for about 100 years or more until it was absorbed by the Roman Empire in 133 BCE. And during that time, the city of Pergamon was embellished with the most significant monuments commemorating the defeat of invaders. This is the Altar of Zeus, which we're going to see next, and this is what it would have looked like. This is a reconstructive drawing of what it would have looked like, and here's the plan of what it looked like. And so you can see this is what we're looking at now, and I think the altar is right back here when you're looking at it in frontal view. And this is what it looks like now in Berlin, because they have come and they have reconstructed the altar and placed it in the museum in Berlin. So let's go to the next slide. So, Altar of Zeus and Athena at Pergamon. It's 175 BCE. It's made of marble, and it was originally in Turkey. And our theme is images of war and violence. And this is the west front, was reconstructed in Berlin. This western front of the altar. At the time, Prussia wanted to be equal with French and the British, which meant they had to have great museums of the past and the inheritors of classic tradition. So in wanting to have the same sort of clout that the British museums and the French museums had, decided in Berlin that they would also create a beautiful museum with antiquities such as this. Let's move to the next page so we can get a closer view. This altar is the most famous for Hellenistic sculpture that resembles this very dramatic flair, this very movement. Dramatic theme is really how you describe your Hellenistic sculpture. The original altar was enclosed with a single story of Ionic columns, and you can see that here we do have Ionic columns because we have the volute on the capital, and we have the shaft here that's straight without any entasis, and this has a base. So we know that this is Ionic. This reaches 68 feet wide and 30 feet deep. So this is really, really quite enormous, this entire altar. And you can see with the people how big it is in the scale, and that these sculptures are either life-size or even larger than life-size. You can see around that this is a frieze, that this right here is a frieze, and it goes all the way around the altar, and it's almost 400 feet long, and it's 100 larger than life-size sculptures. So was originally in antiquity over 100 life-size sculptures present on this altar. The subject depicts the battle between the gods and the Titans, or the giants, which would have been a typical mythical scene that they would have seen in temples. And it's the struggle that the Greeks saw as a metaphor for their conflicts with outsiders. And so looking close up, let's get to the next slide. You can see these giants that they're fighting, and you can see the dramatic movement and diagonals going everywhere. That's how we know partly that it's Hellenistic, and the drama, the theater that's going on here. Look at the monster's legs. They're snake-type legs, and they actually have snakes at the end of them, because here's an actual mouth of a snake. Let's move to the next slide. I mean, they literally are going up the stairwell. You can see they're actually coming into our space here and climbing up the stairs or going down the stairs, either way. But you can see this drapery is very similar to what we saw on the Nike of Samothrace. And, you know, it's very clingy to the body, and we're seeing, again, lots of diagonal line and lots of drama in the face, lots of theater going on. Many expressions of pain, fear, despair. I mean, look at this guy.